Okay, well, I'm out on a fumigation, and I thought I would take the opportunity, since I'm out here middle of the night, almost falling asleep, doing the crazy thing that we call general fumigation, to record this video to teach you how to use a Fumiscope and take readings on a job. So this is a real simple, as general fumigations goes, this is a very simple job. It's 4 monitoring lines. We're actually targeting rodents in this job, so it's not that big of a deal. So we got 4 lines, and you can see we brought the lines over here, and we taped them on the table with a label. There's one over there. And we have them here, and I've got this handy dandy Draeger colorimetric tube pump that I'm using. You know, as a fumigator, you're resourceful. The smart thing would be to bring a little shop vac or an actual purge pump. And this job was a last minute rush, and so we didn't get a chance to get all of our stuff in place that we wanted. And so anyway, basically I'm using this pump to purge the lines. You can see I'm putting the monitoring lines in the end of the, they just happen to fit perfect inside Draeger pump. So I'm using that to purge the line to get a fresh sample. So this is a Fumiscope model 5.1, version 5.1. And it's been warming up, so it's all warmed up. And so you've got 2 knobs. First of all, this is where your power button is, right here next to the plug. Make sure that's on. Let it warm up for probably about 10 minutes or so. Methyl bromide or sulfuryl fluoride. We're using Profume in this job, so it's on sulfuryl fluoride. You have this is your flow meter, and let's see. You can see that little ball bearing, and you can adjust the flow at this knob here. So you can see that you can adjust the flow up or down, and you want it, when your line is attached, you want it to be at 1, okay? Always at 1. I'm doing this in the middle of the night, so it's dark, but you get the idea. And anyway, you want that at 1. And you want to zero it out before you hook up any lines. So I've already purged 2 of the lines. So this is your recenter zero knob. And so this, when you turn it, it jumps really big numbers, okay? So that gets you close to 0. And then once you're within a few, then you use this other knob, the zero adjust knob, to get you into 0. And -0 is the same as 0. So 0 or -0. So we move your hand away from it and let it sit for a second to see if it's stable. And if it's stable, then what we're going to do is we're going to hook to this inlet here. We've got a moisture filter, and we got some clear tubing the right size to fit right over. And let's see if I can show this. Need more hands. Anyway, basically you bring this tube and you put it inside. So you put this tube inside of the clear tube, nice, so it's nice and snug and seats all the way around. You got to make sure that your edges are clean and stuff. And you can see that my gas reading is going up. And what'll happen is it'll go up and it'll stabilize, but you have to make sure that you have a fresh sample. And so, like, I'm confident that I purged it, but I didn't purge it 100%. So also you can see that my ball bearing is a little bit below 1 now that I connected my line, so there's more resistance to the airflow, so it went below a little bit. So I'm going to adjust that back up to 1. Okay, and it's looking like it's going to be a 5, but we'll let it sit for just a second longer. And that's line 4. So this is the old school fumigator's way of keeping track of your gas readings when you don't have your fumiguide handy. So I'm here taking readings and adding gas, and the other guy took the computer with the file in it and everything. So he's got all this other stuff entered. We just have the tape. Of course we use tape, and we put our, like we added gas, we took a reading. I'm going to be taking another reading now once all the gas is this is right before the reading. Add gas. And then I'm going to put monitoring line 1, 2, 3, and 4. And on 4, see, it's gone back down to a 4 now. That's weird. So I gotta figure that out. Anyway, I'll probably have to clear it again and check it again. So if you have a reading that you don't expect like that, then you have to start questioning things and figure it out. But anyway, we were at a 5. I don't know, I gotta figure out if I got a leak in the line or something else is going on. I'll have to clear the Fumiscope and check it again, but and then I'll move from line to line to line and record them here. And then in 3 hours from now, the other guy will be back to take another reading and then plug it all in the computer and see where we stand. Anyway, so that's the basics of how you take readings and how to use the Fumiscope. When we're dealing with, one last thing, when you're dealing with such low numbers like this, zeroing out the Fumiscope between lines is important, because we're operating like within the error range, the lower range of the reading of this capability of this machine. If you were 50 or 60 or even 20 on here, if it's off by 1 or 2, it's not that big of a percentage. But if you're off by 1 and your reading is only supposed to be 3, actually 3 or 4 is supposed to be our reading, so we're right in there. So anyway, you have to zero out between lines, but normally when you're dealing with higher numbers, you don't have to zero it out between lines, just like every 4th line or so. All right, well, have fun on your next fumigation.